Dion, Matt, I have to share with you the 53-year spreadsheet again. I know you've seen it dozens of times. I know you're tired of it. I get it. I hear you. Matt, I hear your eye roll. I get it.
Yeah. I painted this
I
face on. I got new babies.
I actually have been leaving some comments on Ken and Daniil's channel because they're talking about the 70s. They had a couple of videos that did well, got a lot of negative comments because people were saying, well, it's not the 70s. And I keep saying, well, there's a guy who's got a 53-year spreadsheet that can show you the data.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. I actually saw that interview. I reached out as well. We'll see if they get back to me. But here's the deal, right? So Jason Hartman was interviewing me yesterday on his channel, and he wanted me to show something. So I said, hey, why, Jason's never seen the 53-year spreadsheet. So let's show it to him. And I kid you not, in 15 or 20 seconds, he goes, I like what you have here, but you can make it better. First off, I'm impressed that, the spreadsheet's massive, right?
It is. It's
I'm
huge.
like, you could digest this thing in 20 seconds. Call me impressed. What do you got? He's like, you're failing to take advantage of leverage. I'm like, okay, tell me more. He's like, that most people, right, the historical average, most people buy homes with 10% down, right? I think it's 11% is the average. Most investors come in with 20, and in today's environment, the answer is 25%.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't you take the appreciation rate, multiply it by a factor of leverage? So on his channel, we did it by 5 because he wanted to assume 20% down. Because basically it's saying, hey, you put 20% down, but you get all the upside. So take the upside minus times 5, which would be on your equity. So we're basically trying to get a return on equity calculation. I'm like, genius. We could do that. No problem, right? Lickety split, 10 seconds later, we had that. And then he goes, if you really want to make this an honest assessment, you should add another row subtracting inflation, because you get all the upside of leverage, but let's also take the downside of inflation. I'm like, no problem. Lickety split. 15 seconds later, we got the row. And then if we go through the timeline from 1970 to 2022, which is the last full year we have data for, I think you guys will be shocked at some of these return on equity numbers. So how does that feel? Did Jason just nail it? What's going on? What do you guys think, Matt?
Crushed it. It's exactly
Crushed
right.
Dude,
it's relative, right? It's relative in the time that you're doing it.
I can't believe he did that in 20 seconds. Jason Hartman, call me impressed. Dion, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's great. I think one of the things that I usually point out about appreciation is I would take a 5% cash flow real estate deal over a 10% return in a savings account, because you're getting the appreciation on multiples of what you invest.
Exactly.
There's two things that also impacted in the 70s that I don't know how we would factor it into this, but the first one is we started having dual income households more than we had before. And the second was the advent of the 30-year mortgage, right? The debt would not only be multiplied, but stretched out over 30 years. So you weren't paying as much every month as you were 5 years before the 70s.
Yeah, the standard loan of the 30-year mortgage was around longer, but it became the standard in the 70s, to your point. So let's show what Jason Hartman did to my 53-year spreadsheet, because he made it better.
So you could also break it another step, which is there's going to be 40-year debt.
Yeah, it's coming. Absolutely.
And if people are concerned about payment, look at that, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So again, the whole idea of this was take out of home appreciation, which is row 8, multiply it by some factor. So what in the video with Jason, we made this times 5. I wanted to make it more conservative and only did 4. So I'm assuming 25% down. Sure. So that's pretty straightforward math there, right? It's just 4 times the appreciation. Yep. Then what we did is we subtracted inflation, right? We just used CPI. And again, we've had CPI in this spreadsheet the whole time. So the real appreciation, so not nominal, real appreciation with leverage. Look at some of these. These are return on equity, right? Your equity in the house. It's wild, some of these numbers. Yearly numbers. Yeah. These are returns yearly.
This is one of the reasons why I was just starting to make 6 figures in 2020. Yep. But my net worth grew by over 600,000 because the appreciation was based on the full amount of what I even owed or what I had invested.
Yeah, and it starts to compound, right? It starts to compound. So again, we can stretch this out because there's some amazing things we look at here. And again, I went to it's funny because I went to Jason basically to show him, hey, transaction crash, prices don't crash, and then he improved the spreadsheet. So he's a genius in my book. So we do still have some negative years, right? 1980 was negative real. So again, nominal was up with leverage is up, but we happen to have a very high inflation rate that year. So again, real appreciation with leverage was under 1%, or was negative 1%, excuse me. 82 was a bad year, -4.
So let me ask a clarifying question for the uneducated person here. That real means it went up, it just didn't keep up with inflation.
Correct. Yes, okay. Correct. The economist in me would say it has been adjusted for inflation. Yes. Yeah. So again, we had a really bad 1991 was bad.
Yep.
Right? Negative double digits. Let's get to the housing crash. Look at those. Woo! -29, -24, basically. And you guys remember all the crash bros in 2020 and 2021, right? You guys remember those? Remember those guys?
This is gonna suck.
This is gonna suck. Oh, look at
whoops.
Whoops. Missed that one.
No, that
in a year
didn't suck.
In a year.
Dude. In a year.
In a year.
Yeah. Wild.
Guess they don't teach that in realtor school.
Or yeah, it's pretty bad. But at the end of the day, really, the reason this is powerful is most people buy with leverage, and it's adjusted for inflation. Because again, to Dion's point, the reason Dion and frankly all three of us network really started compound. Let's just do it. I mean, let's just go back there. I scrolled back. I shouldn't have. Dion, what year did you buy your first property? Your first rental?
End of 2013.
All right. So you bought here. So let's just assume you had this. I mean, look at this compounding. So that one purchase.
Only 215%.
Only 215%. Matt, when did you buy your first rental?
2001.
So same year.
Mm-hmm.
Same year. I have no idea what this is the first time I'm doing this. So I have no idea because we had a couple of bad years there.
We did.
We had a couple of good ones. Here we go. Only 380%.
Knew I could have done better.
Damn it. Yeah. So at the end of the day, folks, the reason the spreadsheet is better now is because we've assumed leverage and inflation's a feature, not a bug. So I want to thank Jason for doing this. Dion, any closing thoughts, any aha moments when looking at this?
So I think it's a really smart thing to go to somebody like Jason, right, who's got the mind that he does, because you guys have worked in the industry of software forever. I ran a CDL school, and we'd make a spreadsheet or a schedule or something, and the person who makes it puts a ton of energy and effort into it. Mm-hmm. And then fresh eyes look at it, and in a few seconds say, oh, hey, if you did this, it'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to adjust something, right? So I think, Jason, if you get a chance for Ken and Daniil to look at it too, I think Ken's, with his experience, he might look at it and go, hey, there's another thing you can consider. He might look at it and go, well, hey, let's look at commercial versus residential, just because that's his wheelhouse. So I like the idea of having somebody else look at it too.
Yeah. Folks, do me a favor. Go on Ken McElroy's YouTube channel. Leave some comments on that video. I think he just posted one saying the 70s inflation or something. Leave some comments. Let's see if we can't get Ken and I back to talking. Ken, Daniil, and I back to talking. Let's do another interview. Matt, any thoughts?
Real estate is a good investment.
We now have mathematical evidence. And oh, by the way, you and I, all three of us have talked about getting wealthy is easy, right? Step 1, step 2, step 3. Step 3 is 10 years. Yep. The reason that spreadsheet is so powerful is it just shows if you could hold the asset for 10 years, it's certainty that your return on equity will be triple digits. Triple digits.
It's almost like time in the market is better than timing the market.
Who knew? Matt, where can people find you?
Lumberjack Landlord on YouTube and Instagram, live streams Sunday mornings, 11:30 a.m. Eastern time.
Awesome. And Dion, where can people find you?
Right here on YouTube, Dion Talk Financial Freedom, where every Tuesday I do a live stream at 4 p.m. Pacific. And days like today, I talk about 4 things investors are doing wrong.
And folks, let's send out a huge congratulations to the lumberjack and his lovely wife and family. They have just welcomed kid number 4.
Mhm.
That's this many.
It is.
That many. You're playing zone defense, man.
We are. We are. Thankfully, one of them can't walk
Yet.
yet.
Very, very cool. Well, Matt, congratulations one more time.
Thanks very much.